Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So, today I'm going to talk about the cool Talon Fighter and Point Dread. Now we know this came in a huge giant box. We got this giant Talon Fighter that was just so cool, and it's just monstrous in size. Now with this Talon Fighter also came this Tila figure. So let's first talk about Tila. So let me get my extra light on here. There we go. So here's the Tila figure that came with it. Now, when you first got her, she has a little bit of, I don't know where do I want to use it. Basically, she's just kind of extra large in the front here. As you can see, kind of hangs over so she could turn. And so my first goal was to try to fix that. And so the way I fixed it was I pulled her apart and I carefully sanded that down and put it back together so it fits a little more flush. Well, the strange thing is I ended up buying one of these figures online from a guy, and I don't know what this guy did, but he made this amazing, amazing figure where she has a nice skinny waist, it turns, this piece is still attached instead of being separated, painted it gold, the right boots. It's just an amazing figure. I don't even know who I bought it from. I thought it was going to be a regular figure, so I got it in the mail. I'm like, this is my favorite one now. It's so cool. Even used the detailed cuffs on her. Anyway, though, I'm not here to talk about this awesome, cool figure. I'm here to talk about the Talon Fighter itself, and more than just the Talon Fighter, Point Dread. So let's take a look at this. So to release this, there is a button. There it is. And you just pull it, and then you have this giant Talon Fighter that is just monstrously huge. It's so big, it can fit 2 figures inside of it. So you could put both He-Man and Tila in there if you wanted to. It's just massive. So let's take a look at that, how massive that is. I mean, the cockpit in this thing is huge. I mean, it's just... I mean, you could just load them right up in there. You could probably fit even 3 Tilas in here because they're a little smaller. Now, there is one thing that I did not do, and that is in the front of this, it has a spot for a sticker. It came with multiple stickers, so you can choose what you want. I really hate just narrowing it down to one. And so whenever I take pictures, I impose one of the stickers on there, as I don't want to ruin it by putting just one sticker on there. I have been tempted to make some sort of to scan those pictures in and make them sort of like those plastic window clings so I could change them out, but I haven't done that yet. But that's kind of an idea I have. So, the issue with this awesome thing is not this. This is so cool. It's this right here. So let's go ahead and talk about the Point Dread and how to make it work better for your setup and your system. So the first thing we have in Point Dread is this rock enclosure around here. Now this rock enclosure is made for the weight of this because it's so huge, which normally it works just fine. I would not pull it off if you're going to be using the Talon Fighter on top of it. But it fits really nicely. The computer goes way back and everything works good until you go to put it on top of Castle Grayskull. So let's take a look at the cool optional feature of this. And that is the Castle Grayskull inclusion. And I'll put this down. It's just so huge. So to get this for Castle Grayskull, it's got some parts that kind of click into place. Right behind here is 2 spots that click in nice and tight. And then also we have the pieces around it. And once you get it off, you then have this part right here. And let's go ahead and go over to Castle Grayskull and take a look at this. And then you got to take your flag down. And this enclosure just goes right up here on top and pops into place. Now you think, well, that's cool. It kind of adds some size. But the problem is now with that stone enclosure on there, it just really limits the space to get inside there. And if you add the computer, because of the way it sits, there's almost no floor room left for the figure to even fit inside there to get in there. So we're going to tackle those things. So the first thing to tackle is the enclosure. So let's go ahead and talk about how to give yourself some more room in this enclosure. Now, what I did is I actually ended up getting 2 of these just for this reason. So I could have one that was made for the Talon Fighter and one that's made for the castle. If you look really close, you can see there are screws right inside there. And what I did was I actually took a little screwdriver, a long point, and pulled those screws right out. And that way then I could take this whole surface off. So let me show you what it looks like with them off. There it is, the enclosure with it off. Second, I took off the top because I figured this way I won't accidentally put my Talon fighter on there, or my grandkids one, or somebody else, because we don't want this thing to mash down, because that's why they made that, was to make it so it could hold the weight. So I have two versions, one to go on the castle just for looks, and one to actually hold the Talon fighter. Now second, we have these right here that hold it on. Now normally it has two. You can see this one right here has two of them. And those things just lock it in, and once they get locks in, it's really hard to take it back off the castle, and it actually causes just ever so slight damage, and I could see as time goes on it's going to wear that out. So what I did was I took the screws off and inactivated one of them, being it's not going to have to hold the weight of the Talon fighter. This way it will work easier. So let's go ahead and put this on the castle and take a look at how this looks. Let's move that computer. Let's just stick that up there. And there we go. Now we got lots of room. I could put multiple figures in there. They can all hang out in the castle in that extra enclosure and have all kinds of extra room for whatever figures want to sit up there. So way cooler. Now let's address the computer. So here's the computer, and the problem is right down here where it sits, that rim holds it out right on this edge right here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to sand that edge out so that it will fit in there better. So let's go ahead and put some blue tape on it, mark it out, and let's cut this thing so it can fit tighter in the castle. So like I said, luckily I have two of them. Let's take a look and find the one that's in the worst shape, because I don't want to ruin a nice, really good one. This one looks pretty good. And this one also looks pretty good. But I want to use this one, I think, to do that. It's just interesting. All right. That's interesting. I just noticed it's held in with three like melted rivets in there to hold that top piece on. I wonder. You know, I'm going to leave it on there. So let's go ahead and add the blue tape to the sides. This way I can mark it without getting it right on the plastic directly. All right. So now I am going to mark this. Let me get this camera set up so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Sorry about this. There we go. Let's pull this back off. You know what? Let's just leave that on. So let's go ahead and mark it with my pencil. And right here is where it lines up. So I'll just take and draw a little line right there. Just like that. And you can see right here the same thing where it lines up. Right in there. And unfortunately, it has to go all the way across this bottom too at the same distance. So let's go ahead and add some blue tape across that bottom as well. Just so I can mark it. Now the bad part is once I cut this out, it is going to make it so it's a little unstable. But that's okay, because our goal is to have this so it fits better in there. It's going to be able to lean against the back. Now, it doesn't have a lot of room before it starts to hit up here. So let's first sand the bottom out. And you may have to add a little spot right here to cut that out as well for that to fit tight in there. So let's just take a look and see how that works and find out where we're at after we do some cutting. All right. So I have my Dremel tool set up on here on the floor. Now, like always, you guys know I'm kind of important about safety. Let's make sure we're safe when we're doing this, and always wear your safety glasses. And I happen to have my safety glasses right here. And let's get out our Dremel tool and start trimming this thing down. Let's you guys got kind of a bad view of this. Let me change this light source. Let's see if that looks any better. Okay. Okay, so you can see there I have kind of a small cut on there already. And we'll just keep cutting around there. Okay, let's cut away the other side before I cut away the whole center part. And we'll see how that looks. Nope. All right, let's pull this tape off. Let's put it back in the castle and see how close we are. If we have to, we'll retape and redraw some new lines. Sorry if you guys are leaving comments, I can't see them. I apologize for that, but I'm kind of stuck in this mess of plastic. The good news is I got a vacuum right down the hall. I can clean this mess up when I'm done. All right, let's see how it looks. Okay, so far so good. That is fitting a lot tighter in there, or it is further back. So that's cool. And let me go ahead and bring the camera down so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. So right here in this edge, you can see how it sits on that ledge now. I'm going to do a little more sanding on it. And then on this side, It's got the same kind of thing. I'll just see from the angles. But you can see that it's sitting on that ledge. Now, because the back half is curved, I don't have to do a lot of the middle part. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back, do some more sanding. Let's see how this thing works and fits. But so far, so good. It looks like it's coming together. Now, I know it's not going to sit flush when it's done, but that's okay. I don't need it to sit flush. I just need it to just fit better. So hopefully this will make it fit better. And I'm actually going to change bits here. Ah. The good news is for you guys not watching this live, you can just fast forward past all these shenanigans of me sanding it. It's something a little rougher to take off a little more material. So I'm going to go back to the other sanding. All right, back to the smooth one just to square it up. Then we'll see how it fits. Now you want to break off all these large chunks of plastic that are left over from your tools. I want to clean off all the black dust so I don't get it inside my castle. This also kind of breaks some of the edges too a little bit with that rag. There we go. All right, let's see how it fits. Look at that. Now, granted, it's not flush against the back, but that does give a whole lot more room. And now it's not right on the edge, so I can actually fit a figure up there now and actually have room for him to work on the computer and look out the window at the same time. So, that worked out good. And again, let's take a close look at this on the side. So you can see how the side fits now, where it actually rides up on there. And that's what we're looking for, so that it actually sits deeper into that upper room of the castle. And the cool part is, there's still enough of the base left that I could still set it somewhere else and have it fit pretty good. In fact, it actually fits better in this area than it used to. So that's even a double bonus points. All right, one last cool advancement to do with your point dread, which will make all the difference in the world. Let me show you. Okay, so one last issue of point dread. Let's get this camera arranged correctly. There we go. So here we have our point dread. got our computer, got the top half. Locked it in place so it didn't fall apart on you. We got our Talon fighter, which goes way up on top. Now, as a side note, anytime you put the Talon fighter in and out, always pull this switch, which activates that locking feature so you don't snap it off or break it. Of course, we have our Tila figure. Let's get our pilot Tila because she's the one to be flying it. And the problem is, how does she get all the way up to the top of that Talon fighter? I mean, that is a long ways up. Now, of course, on this little demonstration piece they have some stairs that are kind of far apart. But even if you have the stairs, that's still a long ways to go to get all the way up to the top of the Talon fighter. So, my wife, awesome as she is, she found these bird ladders, painted it brown for me. I clear coated it, and check this out. I could just put it right there on the wing, and now it's very similar to that of Star Wars when they get into the X-Wing fighters, and it's like, okay, now that's cool. So my wife, awesome lady, figured out the ladder trick. Now they can go up the ladder like they're actually going to the top of the Talon fighter, and it makes sense. They can climb up on the wing. They can get inside of here. Ugh. Sorry for the close-up view. And once they get up on the wing and get inside, then they can fly off. So, bird ladder, pet store, paint it brown, clear coat it, and you got yourself an awesome ladder to get to the Talon fighter, which is probably the way it should be in the first place. And now she's ready to fly. All right, you guys, those are all the fixes I have for you today. So again, it was taking off the surround so there's more room, sanding down the computer, trying to find a way to make your Tila look not so large in her armor, and then, of course, adding the ladder. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. For those that stayed with me through the whole entire live cast, thanks. I really appreciate it. I know it was pretty long. Those who are watching later, you get to fast forward past all the sanding. Hey, how cool is that? And I will see you guys next episode. Share, like. I need to get some more hits. Something's happening. Oh, thanks, Ricky. Yep, I appreciate that. And I will see you guys next time.